Hey there, welcome to day 1223 of What You Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, documenting my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business, over 47 years there, over a quarter century in corporate America, over 47 years running and owning and operating and being a major player in a bunch of different businesses, a bunch of different industries. Some super duper successful, some I would say absolute busts, or I hate to say failures because I like to think of failure as a stepping stone, but they would definitely be considered a failure by most measurements, most terms. So today's idiom for supersize your business was to take stock of something. Reminded me after I finished recording it, of course, how about taking stock in something, taking equity in a business or in an enterprise in exchange for your expertise, your money, your finances, whatever other resources you bring. Oftentimes you get stock in exchange for that part of the transaction. Now, is it risky because you don't know what your stock's going to be worth someday? Absolutely. But is it better than nothing? I say absolutely as well. There's always an opportunity. So take stock of something is actually one of those old idioms. It's been around since the 1500s, meaning livestock, but then it's morphed over the centuries and come to mean different things. But my most experience with to take stock of something is in a couple of forms. One, well, stock in businesses, of course, but to consider or to assess or to audit or to look into or to measure, to pay attention to what's important and consider that when making decisions and choices and finding solutions to problems, etc. To scrutinize or to size something up. Now, my whole corporate career was about quality and processes and systems and auditing and regulations and mostly government regulations and health and safety and process regulations and things. But so it's always been a big part of my life. Assessing things, analyzing things, taking stock of, measuring things, tracking results, paying attention to the results we're getting from the actions we make. Done it for decades. And it's, to me, it's the only way to actually know how you're doing is find a way to measure what you're looking at to see if you're moving toward what you want or away from what you want. And it doesn't have to be fancy ways to measure. That's why I like key performance indicators. You can be looking at something that is a true indicator, has a direct correlation to the result that you want, and you might be looking at something that doesn't have anything to do with the actual result that you want. Now, most businesses look at profits, sales, top line sales, bottom line sales, big expenses in their business, but you might be looking at something like how many calls does each salesperson make, because you've come to find out that the number of calls that people make in your organization is directly related to the end sales figures that your organization makes, or something like that, or uptime or some other efficiency number that you find that you look at because it's an indicator to you of the overall health of your organization. I call that a key performance indicator. I've had different ones over the years in different businesses and different industries. Since each business is slightly unique and different, kind of like a fingerprint or a thumbprint, what is right for you and what works for you in taking stock in your business has to be something that is important to you and makes sense to you. We want to make sure that it is something that's a real indicator, though, not something that's just something that we like to do and are interested in. I know a lot of online marketers who pay attention to numbers that don't really matter, like their ad spend. Now, they're not looking for the rate of return on their ad spend. They're just looking at how much they spend and bragging about spending millions of dollars a month on impressions or ads or whatever they're doing. And they're not necessarily representing how productive that ad spend is. And to me, that's a kind of a pointless indicator. Oh, I spent $1 million, but I only made 2,000, or I made a negative number. To me, that's misrepresenting not only to other people, but also to ourselves and our ability to actually get results and make changes. So I'm thinking about taking stock in things. I like to, about once a year, do a personal inventory, which is a form of taking stock in myself. What am I doing? What am I working on? How is it going? And I give myself my own really performance review about what am I doing and how is it going. And the truth is, we are always way harder on ourselves than anyone else on the planet would ever be on us. And so I think it's a good exercise I balance it with feedback from other people as well, but I like to take stock and say, okay, how am I doing in these 9, this year it's 9 core areas of my life. Scale of 1 to 10, how do I think I'm doing? I do it at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year, and several times throughout the year, to just make sure that what I'm doing and broken down for my goals is actually moving me toward what I want. Have I ever been in the middle of a year and figured out, oh my God, I'm totally on the wrong road, this is not going to take me where I want to go, and I had to course correct? Absolutely. I had to shut down whole businesses because they were not going in the direction that I wanted and needed them to go in order for them to be viable and me to invest my time and energy and resources in them. So taking stock in things, great idiom, great expression, really like it. Love to know your experience with it. Our 365-day challenge, all about you, all about me, getting to know ourselves by using the little journal book, do one thing every day that centers you. Every day we pop in and I just share what the activity, sometimes it's an activity or a process chart, sometimes it's a fill in the blanks, like today it's a saying and then it asks you a couple of questions about the saying. It says, go to the pines if you want to learn about the pine. And I read the person who said its name, Matsuo Basho. I have no idea how to pronounce that. But then, what did we learn today? What did I learn today? And how did I go about learning it? And I shared that I learn something every day because I do a daily idiom. And sometimes I've heard of the idioms before, but I know virtually nothing about where the majority of the idioms that I've researched over the last couple of years have come from. I think we're up to 900 and some idioms already. Now there's 25,000 in the English language alone, so it's not like we're going to run out, but it's a fun way. It's kind of like improv theater. It's a fun way for me to take stock of my mental capacity and figure out how to tie each of these expressions and idioms, which I've selected in all kinds of crazy ways. I love it the best when people recommend something to me and say, hey, can you look up and research the history of this particular expression or idiom? Those are my favorite, but the ones I pick myself, I pick for a variety of reasons. Originally started doing it out of a random book that was my kids when I was moving. That's what originally got me to do it, and I just have really enjoyed doing it. It's a fun brain, it keeps my brain active, right? We need activities, especially as we get older, that keep us thinking and on our toes, thinking about what things mean, what connections there are, what things and what experiences from our past are helpful in our current situation, or that should just stay the heck in the past because they're not helpful at all in our current situation. And we're like, thank goodness I don't ever have to go back there again. We all have situations like that. We all have had experiences like that. And usually we've built those experiences up way bigger in our mind than they actually were in the first place. I remember I got fired once from a job, more than once, by the way, but once. And I took that experience, and for like the next year, I blew it up. I replayed it in my mind over and over and over again. And all it did was hurt me. It made me feel worse, made me feel terrible, and slowed down my progress. And it wasn't until I used I learned this from Tony Robbins first. I'm sure other people have taught it, but when you go back and you change the memory of an event, and you take it and you take all the emotional charge out of it by doing funny things to the memory. I did that, and it wasn't until I did that I finally let that whole thing go and moved on. And of course, I was better than that silly job I was in, which was stressful and horrible and ridiculous anyway. So, life lesson learned. So that was our challenge today for, what do you like to learn? How do you like to learn it? For our 365-day challenge, take stock in something for Supersize Your Business. Getting psyched up for granddaughter's summer. My 6-year-old granddaughter is going to be hanging out with me this summer, Monday through Friday, while her mama works. And my almost 4 months, she'll be 4 months tomorrow, year-old granddaughter is going to be hanging out with me for a couple of weeks before her parents go to Alaska. So I'm super excited about the two of them and me and all the little adventures and fun we're going to have. I've got tons of projects and tons of fun things already on the burner and planned out and ready to go, because I find that we keep kids active and they're happy. At least the kids in my life, they're very high energy kids, so we want to be high energy and keep active with them too. Somehow I'm going to have to find a way to get a little more sleep, but it'll all work out. So I'm super excited about that this month. And then some other projects that I'm working on that have to do with taking stock of things that I'm working on, doing Evel's challenged to 8 books in 30 days, but I need to have mine all done by the 15th. I only have 1 done so far, so this weekend I really need to beef it up and try to figure out how I can find some magnifying time and blow up the books and get the best and the most out of them as per her teachings, which are phenomenal, by the way. If you're looking for a way to get the information that you need in a quick, fast, easy way without having to read every word of a book, I highly recommend that you look up Avril. If you'd like her contact information, hit me up in the comments below. That's it. That's all I've got today. If I can help you in any way, go out, ask me in the comments, or direct message me, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom. Otherwise, I will be here being me. I invite you to be you and have an amazing day. Let's all make the world a better place together today. Let's all do what we can to smile at somebody, to be kind, to show the world that in America that we are still Americans and that we're not goofy like the media presents us, and that just because we've got some goofy leaders going on and some stuff going on politically doesn't mean that America isn't still the greatest place on the planet. Anyway, have an awesome day. That's my 2 cents worth today. Have a great day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.